Alright, so number one, exercise number one, I want to continue pushing the palm mute stuff. So, considering how fast you can actually pick without palm muting, I want to bridge that gap between the non-muted and the muted. Now, I'm not sure if palm muting is what's preventing you from going faster, or if it's changing strings fairly quickly, if that's the issue. So I think this week working on something like this is going to help with that, since you're going to be staying on one string for 2 beats instead of changing like halfway through a beat and whatnot. Because it's true, you'll never be able to play as fast palm muted versus non-palm muted. So like if you lock into stuff like this, it's never going to be the same as that. I mean, but you can get it pretty close. And that's what I want to have happen for you, is get the palm muted stuff closer to the speed you can do without palm muting. I know it could be like the patterns I've given you, but so yeah, this is kind of to see how much further you can go on palm muting and staying strictly palm muted. So let's do some demos with that guy. So 60 as always. Let's see, here we go. Double time. Think about playing pretty light there too, so maybe that's something to think about. Play light when you're doing this one. Seems to help me keep the speed up and the accuracy up. So here's 200. I had a brain fart. I forgot where the heck to go on this thing. Maybe try 220 and call it there for this one. Definitely feeling a bit more arm flexing going on to get that guy up. It's definitely, I feel much easier to do something like this versus like some of those things like that. So yeah, we'll just see what happens this week with that guy, and kind of like how we always do, give you a thing, see what happens, go from there. So this is one I mentioned, going to do the two-way slanting. So apparently running up and down scales is difficult for a lot of people, and Mr. Grady has pointed out probably because it involves two-way slanting. So as you're starting out, remember, anytime you leave the string on the downstroke, you want to be in an upward slant to clear the strings. Anytime you leave the strings on the upstroke, you want to be on the downward slant to leave the strings. Sometimes I think it should be like the opposite there, because like if I point it this way, like what if I'm slanting it this way? It's pointed downward, so why not that be downward slanting? I think I get it though. It's like kind of looking at it from that plane of motion and looking at the point. So yeah, that's kind of slanted. I don't know. I guess going upward if you point it that way. Sometimes it seems backwards. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. So going through this, notice it's not on the screen very well. Alright, so basically we're just going up the C Ionian 3-note per string shape, and then going up to descend D Dorian, but we're going to end on the E because got to end it somewhere, and I like that note. It's easy to get to. So that's that. So as you're climbing up, you start, and as you and I both do, start with the whole upward slant. But as you change from the A to the D string, you'll have to do that little twist with your arm to get that downward slant. So basically, like here to here, you're doing the downward slant. Here to here. So like each bar, I think it is. Let me double check there. It should be. Yep, so going into that second bar, downward slant to the third bar. Just stay in that upward slant for now. And then getting to bar number 5, upward or downward slant. Downward slant. So yeah, every time you change bars, except for this to this, you'll do that little forearm rotation to do that quick little downward slant to clear the strings. So let me change my position here, get a better view of what's happening with my picking hand and picking arm. I'm trying to move my footstool here. Alright. And a little bit more caffeine, why not? Okay. So usual start speed. So again, at this speed, I don't feel the need to do that arm twist. However, for the sake of education, I'm going to try and exaggerate doing that just to show how it could look. So here we go. I do find it's easier to do that quick little turn of the forearm while ascending a scale versus descending. For some reason, descending just seems to be more of a pain in the butt. It's almost like you have to cover more distance. So if you find that the descending is troublesome, you might want to spend more time with the descending thing. So yeah, let's go double time. Try that again. Still trying to exaggerate the motion there. Okay, 160. I think it might be where I'm not needing to exaggerate it, and I'll just do it. One thing I learned is apparently when I'm doing the descending stuff, I'll start to swipe through the strings more. While I can do the two-way slanting thing, ascending a scale, but then I'll start to swipe while descending a scale after a certain speed, according to what Mr. Troy told me. Alright, 200. Again. Top goal speed at 240 here. Okay, so continuing with legato, yeah, it has been a bit. Just really wanted to focus on like the whole downward slant and seeing how fast we can get the picking going. before heading back to this. But like as I mentioned in the email, I definitely want to wait on starting any sweep picking stuff until we can be back on Skype, so I can see how your hand is positioned, talk about, well, even just like see like what we should start with. Yeah, and most likely it'll be like a 3-note per string thing, but I don't know. We'll have to find out. So, because like some people, I might even have them start just something like that. You can just work on their timing with doing a downward slant, arpeggiating a chord, and then an upward slant, well, arpeggiating a chord going down the thing, and just kind of doing stuff like this. And just kind of get used to moving the hand back and forth, because that's something that's going to happen when you do sweep it. Like you'll keep changing your pick slant as you're doing that. Even with the, well, with like the 3-note per string though, he doesn't have to do that too much. Like Yngwie, he does a lot of 3-note per string shapes, and he always does downward slanting. It's like it's like impossible for him to ever do an upward slant, it seems like. So you can stay in that particular thing. So you're not really going to be having to rotate your arm back and forth in a 3-note per string shape, but a 5, definitely have to go back and forth between that. So anyway, we'll get to that hopefully next week. So anyway, let's get to the old legato here. So the last thing that was done, I looked at it, what the heck was it again? And that was to help make sure that you're keeping your fingers down as much as possible. Basically, the index finger was supposed to stay down the whole time. So when you get to the hammer-ons, all 3 fingers are down. And when you pull off, you're pulling off properly. Instead of doing, anything like that, which you didn't do anywhere near that much. I just noticed a little bit of finger coming up earlier, not being down, like doing something like that. It looked like maybe the middle finger is coming down just barely in time, kind of thing. I don't know. That's what, like almost 2 months ago, something like that. I can't really remember. Anyway, I know it was a finger not being down. It didn't look like it was down in time to allow you to play as fast as you could. I remember that part, but I can't remember how off it was. Anyway, let's get to this guy. So this is kind of, it's somewhat similar to this. It's just you're not going to pick after the hammer-ons. You're going to go straight into the pull-offs, but you're doing the hammer-ons first again, so this way your fingers are down, ready for those pull-offs. We're starting on the B string. So, here we go at 60. Double time. What the heck am I doing? Starting in the wrong spot, that's what I'm doing. I think one of the hardest parts about doing stuff like this is keeping the rhythm as correct as possible. It's so easy to rush this sort of thing. Let's try 200. And the top speed of 240 to get to. Yeah, once you get it going though, man, it's fun to do. I've actually been thinking more about improving legato whenever I get to a point where I feel practicing daily again is okay schedule-wise, because it just sounds so cool hitting, all that really smooth legato, like a lot of impressive solos and whatnot, or solos I would think sound impressive when I first started playing, and things that even still now think sound pretty cool. Like there's something about, just that nice smooth sound versus picking everything. Ah, that's tough. Makes me make a stupid face. So yeah, hearing that nice smooth legato, there's something neat about it, versus again. But they all have their place, right? Remember Guthrie Govan did something, God, what the heck was it? Like he did something where like he would tap, I think it was just like an A minor, I don't remember the minor, but basically he did like a triad thing. He didn't have any distortion on, but he basically just like went, what the heck was it? Something like that. I obviously have not practiced it. There was something like that where he, I don't know if he went down or not, but something like that, and it just was so smooth sounding. God, that's cool. Yeah, anyway. I think that covers all the material here, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions before next week. And if we need to try doing a different day other than Monday, Wednesday kind of worked last week, but that was kind of like usually it doesn't work. Like basically like the Tuesday and Wednesday are days I definitely shouldn't be doing. Definitely Tuesday. But Wednesday, because you were sick, I was like, okay, I'll move some things around and make that work. But basically, the days that I can definitely do, other than Monday, are Thursday, Friday, and Sunday for sure. But I don't know if we can. Maybe the rest of the month will end up being okay. I guess we'll take it one week at a time. But yeah, if you got questions, let me know. I will see you soon.